studying about Mary, the mother of Jesus. It's so interesting that there's just not that many verses and chapters given to Mary, the mother of Jesus. We don't have a lot of insight into her life, but we do see beautiful snippets of her faith and her calling. And today we're going to join in at the very beginning when she is called and she is receiving this word, this promise that she is going to be the mother of God's only son, Jesus. I mean, talk about mind-blowing. I can't even imagine that moment where you're hearing and experiencing the presence of this angel and you are hearing this call upon your life to be the mother of God's son. And so we're going to just read Luke chapter 1, verse 28. And he comes to her, Gabriel does, and he says to Mary in verse 28, and he came to her and said, "Greetings, O favored one, the Lord is with you." I love that so much because it just harkens back to what we have studied for the past couple of days. This promise that we are favored by God because of Jesus and that he is with us. He is with us. And though she was a bit troubled by this greeting that the angel brought and these words, it was absolutely unexpected, I'm sure, and a little perplexing because she had never been with a man. She was only just betrothed to Joseph. And so just physically and logistically, she's wondering, how can this be? And yet when the angel tells her that the Holy Spirit's going to come upon her, she received this word by faith. She says, "Let it be done to me as you have said. I am a servant of the Most High God." And I love her faith in the unexpected, the unknown, in this situation that didn't make any sense in her mind. But she believed it by faith, and she received this call on her life by faith. And the assurance that the angel Gabriel gives her is, number one, that she is favored by God, and number two, that he is with her. Today we can see that those two same greetings come to us through Jesus, that we have found favor in the Most High God. Like, that is so unbelievable and so perplexing to us because we have done so many things wrong. We have missed the mark a million times. We have fallen and we have failed. We have struggled. We have been tempted and we've rebelled. We have given in and given ourselves over to the things of this world time and time and time and time again. And so for Jesus to come and to allow us to be in a position of favor before God is absolutely unthinkable. And yet, we must receive it by faith. That in some way, God, in his incredible love, in his incredible grace and mercy, has chosen to give us favor with him. Instead of us being responsible and undergoing the wrath of God, we now sit in a position of favor with God because of Jesus, because of his gift of grace through his blood, through his life, through his birth, and through his resurrection. He has given us favor with God, and so we have no reason now to fear anything that this world would bring against us, anything that he might ask of us, any calling he puts on our life. We don't have to be afraid because we know that we stand in favor with God. We are not perfect, but we are forgiven, and that allows us to walk boldly before the throne of God and to have the strength to battle the enemies that we come against. But also, the second part of this greeting that we too receive, just like Mary, is that the Lord is now with us. He is with us. Emmanuel has come, and he has brought with him relationship reconciled with God. And so now we're not just favored by God, he is with us. He came from heaven to us. We've seen this over and over again, haven't we? We've seen this scarlet thread cord given to us from heaven to us. We have seen in Elijah the fire coming from heaven to consume the altar and the sacrifice, showing us that God comes through Jesus and he consumes all of sin and shame and discouragement and darkness. We've seen light come from God to us, not through the sun and the moon, but this light from God to us to extinguish the darkness of sin in our life. We've seen this ladder with Jacob from God to us, where we now are reconciled and we have a pathway through Jesus to God. But none of this is things that we've done. This is God coming to us through Jesus and him making a way through darkness into the light of life. All of this culminates in Jesus. And we see that we now stand with Mary by faith, receiving this word of truth, this unbelievable, this unimaginable grace, this unfathomable love, this unconditional love given to us through Jesus, granting us favor with God, though we are yet sinners, Christ dying for us and bringing us in as inheritance alongside of him, co-heirs with Jesus, and also now giving us the promise of his presence every minute of every day, from now into the ends of eternity, of which there is none. It is infinite. This presence of God, this personal allowing us into his very family of faith. And so today, I pray that like Mary, you will by faith receive this call and this calling, this call to faith in Jesus, this call to a favored, grace-filled life, this call into the very comforting, peace-filled, joy-soaked presence of God through Christ, and this calling to make him known, this calling to, by faith, to surrender like Mary did and to say, I am now a servant of the Most High God. Let it be done to me just as you have said. This calling into a life of surrender, this calling into a life of faith, and this calling into a life of love that reaches out and gives birth to this incredible testimony. So I pray today you realize that you are favored by God in Jesus and that you are called into his presence and called to walk forward in this light and this love as we make him known and as we walk out this testimony as a servant of the Most High God. May it be done to us just as God says. I'll see you tomorrow.